I'm pleased to introduce our next presentation to you, Beyond the Obvious, by Eirik Norman Hansen, a founder, a futurist, an author, and an entrepreneur. Eirik is an unshakable technology optimist who gives energetic and engaging lectures about how technology affects organizations, society, and people. Let us welcome Eirik to the stage.
Wow, that's a long walk. Hi people, how are you? Are you good? Yeah. Amazing presentation. I mean, just imagine, there are people remote controlling a car on another planet. The drone even is flying around on Mars. But I want to start off with a little story. 3 years ago, I think it was, I was at the big conference talking about, amongst other things, artificial intelligence and robotics. And after the presentation, a guy came up to me, I think he was in the beginning of his 60s, and he said that, yeah, this was very exciting, but we need to be careful, with artificial intelligence and robotics. And I said, why? What do you think? And he looked at me, dead serious, and he said, remember how it went in Terminator. And he was dead serious, That was his reference. And I think this is the main reason that we all need to encourage people to look a little bit beyond the obvious, what we can actually use technology for, what it is and what it's not. Because a lot of people, they get stuck with the first idea that comes to mind. And this guy, putting artificial intelligence inside a robot, obviously, the Terminator. But there's not the case. And a lot of stuff has happened lately. I mean, for people like me, you can do artificial intelligence art, which is really cool. I can't draw or paint at all, so I can do like this, as you know, a futuristic, hyper-realistic digital art of a man dressed in black on the stage in a conference room, talking about the future. That's me, in bunch of a large crowd of professionals, and that's you. And if you wonder what you look like, this is it, right? But the cool thing here is that, as you all know, if you change the digital art aspect to what if Vincent van Gogh was here to paint us, it would look like this instead. And this is kind of Vincent van Gogh-ish, and I'm pretty sure that he has never ever before drawn a robot. Now he has. And then, of course, you don't have to listen to me. It's just to ask ChatGPT, and you get all the answers you need for why we should look beyond the obvious, and I did also. And then I asked it, can you give me 3 examples of titles for the presentation I'm holding? And it did, and I chose one of them, and then brought it into, what if we combine the two? If you combine the two, then you get presentations, and Tome can do that for you. So I just put in the title, press play, and then it starts to create a presentation, a structure with content and illustrations and all. And this is the deck that I got, and actually I can just go and grab a cup of coffee, and then you guys can listen to my digital alter ego, Mr. Eirik, instead.
Thank you, Eirik. You can just pack your stuff and leave now.
Okay, bye.
I will take it from here.
I hope you will listen to me instead. But, I mean, this is out there. This is open solution platforms for anyone to use. But just think about it. Just a few years ago, 5 years ago, we didn't have a clue that this was going to be, possible right now. And now suddenly everything is changing. We are living in an exponential revolution, feeling the solutions on our body right here. And then we are changing, We are different now. Someone did a survey a couple of years ago. They asked 14 to 29-year-olds to tell them what they were most afraid of losing in the world. What do you think they were most afraid of losing in the world? Their cell phone, of course, yeah. And I don't know about you, anyone you forgotten your cell phone in the morning on your way to work? Yeah, what do you do then? You turn around, right? Go home and get the phone. Yeah, and then you get in a bit late in the office, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm late, but I forgot my phone, and that's okay. That's a valid reason now. So the second thing was internet, of course. Then further down on the list, this group of people, they started to be afraid of losing physical stuff like cars, for instance, because we have platforms for that. You don't need to own a car anymore. We can fix that in another way. A bit worrisome, maybe, in this survey was that it was only 43% who said they were most afraid of losing their current partner. Yeah. And the case might be if you have your cell phone and the internet, the rest is kind of taken care of. So we are living in extremely fascinating times. And even though the world is nowhere near what we would like it to be. There are a bunch of different stuff that we need to change. We have never ever been able to do so many things as we can right now because of technology, because of artificial intelligence, because of all the stuff we have around us that can help us fix the world. And we have huge challenges. And of course, it's our responsibility, as we heard before today, it's our responsibility to make sure that we have the right knowledge, that we do the right thing, that we prioritize to use the technology in the right way, and then we need to be in full control, but we're not, you know. Everything is moving so fast. You know, as I said, we live in this exponential development revolution, but have you ever thought about what exponential development actually means? How fast is it? You know, and that's also hard for people to grasp around. And if I were to compare, I mean, most of us, we understand linear development. So just imagine I was to take 30 steps that way. Each step is 1 meter, 1 + 1 + 1, 30 times. Then I'll end up go 30 meters. Yeah, we can understand that. If I could take exponential steps, that would be cool, right? The first step would be 1 meter, the other would be 2, the third would be 4, then it doubles every time for 30 times. Then I end up go 26 times around the globe instead. And that's how much faster, you know, we need to prepare for and think for. And that's pretty challenging, but also really, really awesome. On the other hand, people have started to adopt technology in a different way. Before, you know, we were queuing up days in advance to get the latest iPhone. We don't do that anymore. But now we adopt technology based on the assumption of a value or something, a benefit that I can get from it. Like when ChatGPT was launched 1 year ago, you know, they had 1 million new users during the first 24 hours. No other service has experienced that ever. You know, Snapchat, TikTok, forget it. This was the greatest. And people thought that, well, this is interesting. I might be able to use this for something. So I did a little survey a couple of years ago, kind of to illustrate this phenomenon. And I asked 1,000 people if they would like to have a chip implanted underneath their skin if it was not dangerous. That was the only thing I said. Anyone here care for a chip implant underneath their skin if it's not dangerous? Anyone? A few, yeah. 13% in my survey said that that sounded like a great idea. And the cool thing was that when I asked them why, none of them talked about security and surveillance and that stuff. They talked about what they could use it for. That would be great, because I always tend to forget the key to the gym. I could start my car, I could open the office door, come in, pay in the store. And someone told me that, you know, Eirik, it is possible to get one of those. You can go to Epicenter in Stockholm, so I did. There's an epicenter here in Amsterdam as well. And I talked to a guy there called Hannes, looks like a very, very straight and ordinary guy. Complete nutcase. But we're good friends now, and he's the most forward-thinking guy I know. And I got a friend of him here today. I'll introduce you for him afterwards. And he asked me, at this point, he was doing a company, a startup, where they were together with the University Hospital of Stockholm, checking out if they could use implants for health, you know, measuring your body. And they needed a guinea pig. So before I knew it, I was on my way to a piercing studio for the first time in my life. I'm not very keen at needles, so I asked the guy, does it hurt? He didn't really answer. And then if you are a bit weak-hearted, look away, because it ended up like this.
Då kör vi. Pust in. Och pust ut.
Keep on breathing, he said afterwards. I was kind of fainting away, but I came to my senses. It did hurt, actually. And he was standing over there, and excuse my language now, but on the back of his T-shirt, it said, of course it fucking hurts. He told me that that's the most common question they get. But if you'd like a chip today, his colleague is with me, and we're just outside here in the lunch break. You can buy one. I kid you not. We're just out here now, and we're going to do a little competition as well. So if you'd like to be part of that competition, we will draw one lucky winner to have a chip implant. But anyways, now I have an implant in my hand, and with that I can use the printer, I can unlock the lockers, I can pay in the cantina at Epicenter, I can unlock the door, and this is the same kind of technology as we use for cats and dogs, you know. So I also put in my owner's information. So if I, you know, faint out, fall off on the street, you can just call the veterinarian, they'll scan me and they know who owns me, which is pretty convenient. If there's no life left, I also put in my entire DNA profile, so you can make a duplicate of me if you like. And the reason they're doing this project, you see another one I got there, and this is the one we're giving away as a prize, has a light in it. Very, very cool party trick. You know, you can just scan with your phone and it lights through your skin, and I have my business card there, which is cool. But the idea here was to see if they could use this, as I said, together with the University Hospital in Stockholm. And they ended up making one, I have it here, with a temperature sensor in it. And by using machine learning, they can now monitor the development of my temperature. And after a while now, we can see if my temperature changes in a certain way, it could mean that I'm about to get, I don't know, cold or something. So this is cool. And we have a cat. So me and our cat, we can also open a cat hatch. So that's also very important. So that's hyper adoption. And we are doing amazing stuff already. Each year, I go to the CES conference, in Las Vegas, a crazy place with a bunch of technology. And this year, of course, artificial intelligence and the metaverse was the big thing. And when you start to combine those things, you get amazing solutions. I was able to try this haptic suit on, and with VR goggles and some kind of generative AI platform, I met the guy in VR, and we had a conversation. And when we talked, I could shake his hand, and I actually felt that he was, touching my hand. He poked me. I could feel that he poked me, and then he said, "Oh, give me a hug." And I could feel that he touched my back. That was kind of strange, but and you can also add a little smell device on the goggles, so you can smell the surroundings. And all this could, of course, be great gameplay, but also imagine what we can use it for in industries, for instance. I talked to a guy, they have remote power plants. They can do service there and actually smell if there are smoke coming out of the machinery, for instance. And now we can make bionic hands from Georgia Tech. I think they're here today as well. They're doing this amazing technology with sensors feeling your muscles that are still, knowing which fingers to move even though we don't have fingers. And their ambition now is to create a hand that can actually play the piano. That's pretty fine mechanics. And just imagine that. This is a new survey or a new project done by 2 universities in the States. The woman here, she had a stroke a couple of years ago and lost the ability to speak. And now by connecting sensors and using AI and also generative AI, they can actually figure out what she's going to say. And she has gotten her voice back. And that's pretty amazing as well. And there's a Norwegian company, they use HoloLenses from Microsoft, and they can do a scan of your heart. So instead of opening you up, they can make a scan of your heart. Their ambition is to make a kind of a digital twin of your heart. They're not there yet. But just imagine what that could mean. You can do, the diagnostics on the digital heart. You can involve a doctor in Tokyo, an expert on your disease. They can start to train on the operation. If it's a complex and advanced operation, they can do that on the heart. And when the algorithm says, no, it's great, they just press a button and a robot is doing exactly what the people have done instead. And this also means that we can start to provide these kind of advanced medical services in parts of the world where they are not so fortunate as we are to have surgeons like this. And then we are building robots. We know that Musk is building his. This is Xiaomi's personal assistant robot. It's probably coming in a couple of years, and it's much more than just a vacuum cleaner. And this is going to be amazing. Imagine, fun, but also very, very helpful. And connecting that to all kinds of technology will make it just astonishing. But we people are strange again, because when Boston Dynamics launched, you've probably all seen this cute dog, and we were told that it's filled up with artificial intelligence, which is this, to learn it to walk and to find the stair and to find the doors and take the elevator. And people were freaking out, now they're coming, taking over the world, until Boston Dynamics published this video here. And the idea with this video was to demonstrate how good this dog is not to lose balance. But this freaked people out, and it generated a complaint storm to the animal rights organizations in the States, because they might be taking over the world, but we need to treat them with respect. So we know now that this is not where we're going. And I argue that, of course, we cannot be experts, all of us. But what we need to do is to gain more understanding about the big technology trends. And there are 4 areas that I think deserves a little investigation right now, to understand how we can use data science and data analytics to provide better services, to combine that with artificial intelligence. Now everyone has access to it, but we know that, it's been there for ages. And using that together with data is absolutely a necessity, but also understanding what it all means. And extended realities, even though I don't think that we are moving into the metaverse anytime soon, we will use that kind of technology to do astonishing things, together with robotics and automation. And these 4 fields are, some of the most important stuff we can do in the future. And for us, it's not, just creating fun and games and practical stuff. We can do amazing stuff. And I think it's our obligation to understand how we can move this into the future and really learn and teach ourselves to look beyond the obvious. So for me, this is about how society is changing. We know for a fact that, going into the future, more and more people will live in big cities. And I think someone said that within the 2050, I think 85% or something like that of the world's population are going to live in big cities or in junctions to big cities. And that means that we are going to change the way we do things for, environmental reasons, but also because, there will be filled up. We also see, society, there was society, and then organizations. One of the biggest challenges we have right now is a lack of resources. We are, at one point, you get afraid of losing your job because of AI, but on the other hand, there are not enough resources. Almost within every single industry, we are lacking resources. And we can use technology to narrow that gap. And we can use technology to change the way we work. We can use technology and artificial intelligence to do better, to be more sustainable, to take less risk. And I think that's important too. And people are changing as well. As you saw, the younger generation, and a lot of you represent that, are different. We would like to work differently. We would like to do different things. And now during the past 3 years, because of that pandemic, we learned to change, and we changed quite fast. And that also changes our culture. So what was, okay to do before is not okay to do anymore, and the other way around, because we are changing the way we live because of technology. So we are moving into a society that it's much more connected than we are used to. Forrester Research found that last year it was an increase in 40% in investment in smart infrastructure. And smart infrastructure is not robotic vacuum cleaners and smart light bulbs. It's about creating cities that are smarter. Like Toyota, for some reason, are doing in Japan. They're creating what they call the woven city. And this is a project to see how humans and technology can live together in harmony, how we can assist one another to create a better world than what we have been able to create so far. And in this city, everything is connected, everything is autonomous. They know who you are, where you are, what you're doing, what you need in the refrigerator, so it's get delivered with a little robot. They have a chef robot that can help you create the right food for you based on the amount of calories that you've been using that day, for instance, and also help us to use less energy, reduce waste of food and stuff like that. So I believe that it never has been so important as right now to be a human being, because we have all these opportunities and we need to change or fix a lot of the challenges we have. And it's our responsibility to do the right thing. And then we need to look beyond the obvious. So now my invitation to you is that, as I said previously, just around the corner on that side, if you go out on that side, there's something called the Speaker's Corner. And if you'd like to participate in my little chipping contests, come there, fill out a little note, and then we'll draw someone at the end of the lunch break. You can also buy one if you like that. It's not dangerous, and I can show you how to set up so you get your business card in your hand, which is one of the killer party tricks and an icebreaker of dimensions. And I will also rig up a bunch of VR goggles so you can see how it is to meet one another in VR if you like that. So I hope that I have opened up your eyes a little bit. I know that you are experts. I know that you are forward-thinking people. But we need to be even more out there. And don't, hide your ideas. Come out with your ideas. We have a tendency oftentimes to not share them because we think that someone else has probably talked about it, or they will laugh at me and it's strange. And don't care about that. Do like this guy here. He was finally allowed to be DJ at this year's Christmas party, and he doesn't care anything about what other people might think. Do like him and meet the future with a smile. And with that, I'll say thank you for your attention and good luck with your future. Thank you.
det.